Like so through all of your guys' research and experience, what for each of you, what is the most interesting thing that you each learned about cannabis? I'm sure that's probably kind of a hard question.
There's a lot of interesting things. I'll pick one out, and it stands out in my mind right now because of the conversation in the conference, and that's that CBD dominant strains or CBD high CBD ratios.
That's cannabidiol, another cannabinoid found in cannabis other than just THC.
One of the many cannabinoids, yeah, but one of the most important ones in my mind because it starts to address the anti-inflammatory and pain issues, muscle spasms, and a whole bunch of other ailments that as patients we're concerned with dealing with. Now, to me, the most fascinating thing is that we don't need the THC necessarily to get us, as people say, stoned. As a patient, by the way, I don't get stoned anymore, and I think that's because however, on that topic, though, I really believe that THC is something that has been bred into a lot of plants recently. However, CBD is more of a medicinal value, has more of a medicinal value. And so it was exciting to not only learn through the science of the conference, but also to verify as my personal experience through finding what works for me. So that really is a big deal for me. I think it really does come back to I'm interested in healing myself as a patient. So in saying that, I'm hoping I help others. Go for CBDs.
What about you, Sarah?
Very good question.
What's the most interesting thing you learned? If you could pick just one thing.
If I had to, I think if I had to pick one of the most significant things for me, as far as so-called, new information or new experiences with cannabis after all these years, that is being part of a time and place where we are now bringing our families more into the community in an active and open role. Our children and families have been used against us for so long in so many different ways, and having already had to face those trials of having my family taken and used against me really gives me a further insight as to how absolutely detrimental it is that we speak with our children, that we speak with our grandparents, that we speak with our families that have not been exposed to this yet. Because the more that we expose people, our families, the public, to the truth about cannabis, then the sooner that we are going to see leaps and bounds beyond anything that any state has done up to this point. We certainly can, and I believe will, break the prohibition barriers by bringing our families into this collectively.
I agree 100%.
Thank you.
So then I guess if you want to kind of close out with some advice for your viewers, what can the average typical American who may not know that much about this do to help with this movement that we know of?
I think try and educate yourself as much as you can. Do some research on Google. Type in cannabis and research and federal government. And look up the federal patients out there. Find out how they got into using medical cannabis and why. I would just start asking questions. Don't be afraid to bring this out into an open conversation. That's why we're here in this country. Fundamentally, this is a right that we have to take care of ourselves. We need to be able to achieve a quality of life that is acceptable to all of us, whether it's we live in pain or have glaucoma or what have you. And so I first start with educate yourselves. And from there, just open your mind to look at the patients that are already using cannabis and see, are they sitting on the couch with a motivational syndrome, or do they actually participate in society? And so just please accept us.
I think you're very acceptable people.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'd say I could probably sum it up in just a few directives, and that would be read about the history of Randolph Hearst, read about the prohibition of cannabis in 1937. Read about Franklin Delano Roosevelt's New Deal and how cannabis actually played a role in that as well. And furthermore, and finally, may you rest in peace. Read the Emperor Wears No Clothes. There's a wealth of information that countless patients and advocates have referred to time and time again, historically speaking, as one of the more profound books on cannabis and the history of America, and how this is all just nonsense. It's absolutely ridiculous that here we are in 2010, still fighting the fight.
Here's one thing I'll just throw at you, just for your last comment. And that's just to keep in mind that we have this system in our body, these receptors, the CB1 and CB2 receptors, which happen to be cannabinoid receptors. And that might be a bigger word for some of you, but basically scientifically it says that we have all these little things in our body that say, feed me, and the cannabis plant, marijuana, fits those receptors. And those receptors play into our memory in a positive way, into pain mitigation, into body functions, into our immune system, into so many different things. The way to look at this is it's very similar to the opioid system in our body. We know we use morphine for various purposes and it works in our body on the opiate receptors. Well, here it is with the cannabinoids. So please keep in mind it.
Awesome. So I think that about sums it up. I appreciate you guys' time very much.
Thank you, Alex.
So much for sharing all you have with me on what you know and your resources and your experience. Thanks for taking the time to sit down here and put yourself on the Alex Jones Medical Marijuana Logs. This has been a special edition. It's probably going to have to be clipped into multiple parts so we can fit it on YouTube, but I think it's going to be worth it in the end. And thank you for your time, and thank you guys for tuning in. I hope that you keep doing so, because there's going to be an abundance of information. I'm going to try and touch on the scientific parts of the endocannabinoid system as I learn more. So we're all learning this together, guys, and let's just not forget to fight this battle with education, because education is our weapon. So thanks again, and have a wonderful day.
Your viewers can always check out Cannabis Health News Magazine.com for current issues, information, and what's going on in Colorado.